This here is Oberon Tarana Heritage Railway. We started in 2005 rebuilding the track from Oberon to Hazelgrove, some 5 kilometres.
Okay, down here at Oberon Station are the original sleepers dating from 1923. Most of those are now being replaced, and just across the rail line over here are the ones that have been replaced. All those new sleepers that are in the line there underneath the carriages, the old carriages. This will be the destination of the trains from Oberon. The initial stage of the restoration runs from Oberon to Hazelgrove, and this area here will be restored. We'll have a very small station, just a little shack like it used to have, very small station, and it'll have a runaround loop to change the engines around, and it will have some sort of picnic area, probably barbecue areas, a little toilet for passengers and tourists on the line.
Today we have behind us fettlers working on the track. These guys come once a month, work religiously on the track, and we've now restored some 4.5 kilometres of track to Oberon. The project so far has community contribution and volunteer labour time of $1.9 million. This is contributed from our fettlers working on the track, machine hire, local businesses donating food and machinery. Also, the council has been very supportive of the whole project. Originally, when we some 6 months after we started off on the project, a council grant along with the federal tourism grant became available, where Oberon Council donated $50,000 to the project, and the federal government through the tourism department put in another $50,000. So that basically bought us enough sleepers to do the project. With the money that we've raised down the street with wood raffles and cake stalls and that sort of stuff, we've finally put enough money together to buy extra sleepers out of the main rail corridor at Tarana. So we ended up with 7,000 sleepers that we could afford to buy to do more of the project that we had underestimated how many sleepers we needed. And then just recently we actually had enough money in our bank account to actually buy 2 73 class locos.
So initially we'll be running with the diesel locos and the 2 historic carriages which are behind us here, which we've recently acquired from the Rail Transport Museum, and they're in beautiful condition, but they'll be used behind the diesels for our initial run between Oberon Station and Hazelgrove. That'll be our first section of the line between here and Tarana that we will complete the restoration. These are our historic 1897 vintage carriages. We have 2 carriages, 2 old end platform carriages, and these ones have been modified way back in about the 1930s to have 2 toilets in the centre of each carriage, so they're really high-class carriages for their day, and they ended up their working life on the Illawarra line.
The council, since I've been in this project, there is not something I haven't asked for that they haven't been able to do. They've been 110% supportive of us, and this is why this whole project is so successful. And the other thing you've got to bear in mind, we've only been going for 5 years now. Most railways like the Zigzag and Puff and Billy and all the ones that are very, very successful have took like 30 years for themselves to get established and get running. We're the fastest growing heritage railway in Australia. And it's a commendation to all our board members that are working tirelessly behind the scenes that most members don't actually see, but it's also to the members that are here on the track working, and the donations that we get from out of town members that can't actually afford to come here and give the time, but they're prepared to make donations and that sort of thing.
And the fact that all these volunteers came along and first of all had to learn how to repair track, how to put in sleepers, how to put in dog spikes, how to align the track, gauge the track. We all had to learn it from square one right off, and that enthusiasm was there. all that time, and it's been maintained all the way along through thick and thin, and heat and cold and snow and sleet and the whole lot, and today through mud. And the enthusiasm of the hardcore group that comes to the work bees. Each month we have 1 week for a work bee. The hardcore group comes along every time and puts their back into it, and that's one reason why it's now virtually complete between here and Hazelgrove. We're now the biggest voluntary organisation in the Oberon district. We've got well over 250 members, and we've got an excellent website that was maintained by Rick Fletcher, which has all the historic photos on it, and we've got a little monthly newsletter which comes out every month.
We're like one big family. We're the OTHR family. And we have people, new people especially, that come to Oberon. They are looking for somewhere to meet new people and that sort of thing. And we find that a lot of our members are new people to Oberon, and they've been the salvation of our whole project, because basically without these extra people coming to town, we'd have a smaller workforce on the fettler gangs.
You can see our keen fettlers up there working in the freezing cold wind of Oberon.
This gauge here is used for setting the width of the track, so that the track is at a set width. If the track was too wide, the train would fall down in between the tracks. So every time these guys replace the sleeper, they check the gauge, and then they pin the track to suit that gauge. You can see Arthur here, he's tapping the chair in underneath the track. It's underneath a joint, as you can see, and then he'll drill that, and then they'll hit the dog spike in with the sledgehammer there. You can now see Arthur drilling the hole for the dog spike. So far in the 4.5 kilometres of track, these guys have drilled 29,970 holes and hammered in the same amount of dog spikes. This is how the original track would have been laid in 1923. These would have been hand drilled like this. So we have here in display a hand operated drilling machine. We also have the petrol drilling machine, and we also have pneumatic drilling machines as well. Sad thing is, Bob, you're a lot quicker than Arthur.
Yeah, these are our S-trucks that we've acquired. So we now own these as part of the Oberon Tarana Heritage Railway, and you can see some of them need some restoration, but basically they're not in too bad condition, and they would have originally carried the produce from Oberon, the peas and potatoes and all sorts of things like this, from Oberon down to Tarana, down to the mainline freight trains. I think people are looking at rail as being, at least locally, a major tourist drawcard, and being part of the tourist sort of circuit. There's a lot of interest around the state in heritage rail. There's a lot of groups trying to get a heritage rail system up and running. But I think also people are looking to rail more generally, like the people in Bathurst wanting a better rail service to Sydney. And they're looking at things like that as an alternative to buses and trucks and things on the road.
And when do you think it'll be open? Have you got a date for that?
$64 question.
Oh, mate. Right. Basically, that, as Calder said, it is a $64 million question. God knows what it'll be. Look, realistically, we can't put a time frame on it. The main reason is it's the paperwork we need to have in place to actually run the rolling stock for the Independent Transport Safety Regulator. That, as far as I can see, will be our hold-up. And once we've got that all in place, then we'll be able to run and operate the train service. But until we actually have that date firmly fixed, I'm sick of saying next year.
Okay.